Lesson 71. Only God's plan for salvation will work.
Hi there! Are you ready to learn about God's perfect plan for your salvation? If so, here it is. You may not realize it, but your ego has set up a plan for your salvation, and it's the plan in which you currently believe. However, this plan is the opposite of God's plan for salvation. You might also believe that if you follow God's plan, you'll be damned. This is absurd. But when you examine your ego's plan for salvation, you might realize that, even though it's absurd, you still believe in it. The ego's plan for salvation is based on holding grievances. It believes that if someone else spoke or acted differently, or if some external circumstance or event were different, then we would be saved. The source of salvation is always seen as outside ourselves. Every grievance we have is a declaration that says, if this were different, I would be saved. In other words, we demand that everyone and everything else change, except for ourselves. The role assigned to your own mind in this plan is simply to figure out what needs to change for you to be saved. Everything needs to change, except ourselves. According to this insane plan, any perceived source of salvation is okay, as long as it won't work. This ensures that our fruitless search will continue, under the illusion that even though nothing has worked so far, there's still hope to find what we're looking for in other places and other things. Another person may serve better, another situation may offer success. This is the ego's plan for our salvation: seek but do not find. Is there a more certain path to failure than searching for salvation where it cannot be found?
Only God's plan for salvation will work.
By following God's plan, we'll seek salvation where it is. But if we want to succeed, we must be willing to follow only His plan. Trying to follow two diametrically opposed plans at the same time won't work. The two plans, God's plan for salvation and the ego's plan for salvation, are going in totally different directions. One is looking for salvation where it is, the other where it isn't. We can't go in two directions at the same time. If we try to divide our purpose and follow two plans simultaneously, we'll end up feeling confused, miserable, and with a deep sense of failure and despair. How can we escape all this? Very simply. The idea for today is the answer.
Only God's plan for salvation will work.
There can be no real conflict about this, because God's plan is the only plan that will work and it will always succeed. There is no other way to reach salvation. Today, let's practice learning to trust in God's plan. We can be happy knowing that there is an answer to a conflict that seems unsolvable. God can do anything. So, salvation must be ours, because His plan cannot fail. Begin your 2 longer practice sessions today by thinking about today's idea.
Only God's plan for salvation will work.
Realize that it contains 2 parts, each equally important. 1. God's plan for your salvation will work, and 2. Other plans will not work. Do not allow yourself to become sad or angry at the second part, it is simply implicit in the first. The first part implies that you'll be fully released from all your own insane attempts and crazy proposals to free yourself. Remember where these attempts have led you, to depression and anger. But God's plan will succeed. It will lead to freedom and joy. Let us spend the rest of our extended practice periods asking God to reveal His plan to us. Ask Him specifically.
What would you have me do?
Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom?
Give Him full control of the rest of the practice period, and let Him tell you what needs to be done in His plan for your salvation. He will answer in proportion to your willingness to hear His voice. The fact that you are doing these exercises proves enough that you want to listen to Him, so He will answer. Remind yourself often today.
Only God's plan for salvation will work.
God's plan for salvation, and only His, will work.
Be alert to all temptation to hold grievances today, and respond to them this way.
Holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan for salvation, and only His plan will work.
Try to remember today's idea at least 6 to 7 times an hour. It will take just a few moments to simply repeat in your mind.
Only God's plan for salvation will work.
What do you think of that? Isn't it illuminating to know that we can ask God to guide us in His plan for our salvation, and He will answer us? You're doing great. See you tomorrow for another powerful lesson.
If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment. Thanks. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. There's a new lesson every day.